Hi, angels, and welcome. I'm your host, Lisa Everding, founder of Earthy Angels, and I'm on a mission to empower women to live authentically and to take exquisite care of themselves. You can find us on earthyangels.com or head over to our show notes to follow us on socials. Hi girls, I have had this lesson that has been playing out for me a few times that has been keeping me stuck, that really showed up for me this morning, which I'm going to dive into. And as I'm recording this, it's just dawned on me that I've had sciatica down my right side for a couple of days now that has been keeping me stuck. That has been this tension and this gripping down my right side that I suddenly just realized it's not there anymore. So I think in what's happened with me releasing mentally, emotionally, spiritually, it has helped this ease and flow and released for me physically. So let's dive in. Hi angels, I'm jumping on to share with you this morning something that come up for me, which I know many women can men can relate to, but my audience is women, so I'm speaking to you ladies. So what happened this morning is, this is all around, I guess, self-doubt, around perfection, around trusting in yourself. So let me explain. So this morning I had a coaching call with my beautiful psychic medium energy healer friend, Kira. I decided at the beginning of the year, as you know, last year I went through a big journey of transformation with my explant, and I had to really learn to trust in myself. I had to really learn to trust in my intuition, trust in my guidance. And I leveled up in many ways. I really connected with my soul in many ways. And I thought to myself, this year I just kept getting this thought on my walk. I'd be out walking and I would just have this thought that would pop in my mind. You need to do spiritual coaching with Kira. And I would go, yeah, I don't know if I want to do any courses or anything this year. I really wanted this year to be about a lot of integration, about a lot of taking action and putting a few business concepts together that I'd been working on, because I put a lot of it to the side last year when I was going through this whole journey of healing, of self-doubt, of all the things, getting my breast implants removed. And this year I thought I just want to get back into some of those projects that I've been wanting to create. So I want to take action this year, like I want to get my podcast up. There's things I want to sell online. There is projects that I want to create. I've got so many ideas in my head. So this year for me is all about integration, taking action, putting it together. I'm not going to do any courses. I'm not going to dive into any study this year. But I kept getting this reoccurring voice pop in my head on my walks, reach out to Kira, because I knew that at some stage I wanted to dive into more spiritual coaching, for her to teach me, take me to that next level, because I just have had this feeling, this knowing that to a certain degree, this has been a level of me having to trust as well. Like I just know that I've got this healing ability within me, which I'll dive into in a moment. But what happened this morning? So I decided, I reached out to Kira. We've done maybe, I can't remember now, 4 to 6 weeks worth of coaching calls. And I am loving it. She is amazing, and she's really teaching me how to open that psychic medium ability. She's really teaching me how to just level up in so many ways that I never thought possible. And I know that I need to do this for me to be the leader, the teacher, the business owner, the mother, the person, a soul that I am, for me to really live my life in a more fulfilling way, and for me to live my purpose. I really feel a calling to learn more. And so she's guiding me through this process, which I'm absolutely loving. Anyway, I had a call with her this morning, and I always pull cards before I go into one of my coaching calls. And I spoke about oracle cards before, and I do use them a lot. I don't use them every single day. I just use them when I feel an urge. And I always have this beautiful little ritual before I go into a coaching call with her. It might be it's always a walk. It might be a nice cleansing swim or a shower and a scrub, or I really have this little bit of self-care so that I can really tune in. I pull some oracle cards. I will sage just to kind of cleanse away anything that I've been carrying or hanging on to, and just kind of feel like I'm this clean slate, like ready to absorb. And the cards I pulled this morning, one of the cards I pulled actually was, it says return. I've got this beautiful deck called the Oracle of Portals. And I pulled this card that said return, and I picked it up, and my instinct was, I was like, fuck this shit. And I threw it to the side. I'm like, I pulled this card with her 2 weeks ago. What is going on? I pulled it 2 weeks ago, and what come up with me 2 weeks ago was all around using my throat. Like everything come up, and it's funny what played out. I went to jump on the call with her, and she could see me, but she couldn't hear me, which is obviously the throat chakra. I felt like I needed to wear a blue top on that day, which is the throat chakra. So everything was coming up about the throat. And then I pulled this card, and it has a blue door on it, and it said return. So I was like back then, okay, maybe I need to do a little bit more work on on my throat and putting myself out there comfortably and fully. So we did a bit of work around that, which was great. And that was 2 weeks ago. And I pulled this card again. And this morning I'm like, what the hell? Like, why am I pulling this card again? What do I need to return to? I want to move on to the next stage, like give me some cards on abundance, on success, on prosperity, on all the things that I, really want. And as all of us do, all the good things, sometimes it's harder to look at our stuff, right? So I've read this card and I'm like, what is this relating to? And I had to think about it before I jumped on the call with her. And when I jumped on the call with her, she's like, how are you going? What's been happening? And I just spilled all this out, right? So I'll tell you what I told her. And I said to her, I pulled this card, Kira, and I'm just really frustrated because I feel like I don't want to look at anything again. I want to move on to some new stuff. But you know why I think it come up? I said, I recorded a podcast episode last night, and it was late in the afternoon, and I knew, for me, I am at my energetic peak in the morning. I love getting up early. I thrive with connection out on my walk or through my meditation or whatever I do. I connect in the morning, and I find that that's where I get my most energy. So I recorded this episode yesterday. Late afternoon. It was like the day after I'd had a women's circle. So a women's circle is always massive for me because it's a late night, a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, a really amazing night. And then I'm kind of in bed late, and then I'm up super early the next morning, back into the studio at like 5 something, ready for my next class. So then by the time I get home after lunch on a Wednesday, I'm a bit fried, and I kind of feel like I just need to rest a little bit. But I felt this pressure. I've got to get a podcast episode up to my IT guy because he's about to go on holidays. So I have to get it done. And I had all these notes written out of what I was going to talk about. And then I wasn't fully feeling it. And I listened back to it later that night when I was kind of getting dinner ready, about to go to bed. And I listened to it. I went, this is just crap. Like, it's not the expectancy that I have. And I've had clients have said to me, I love listening to your podcast. I feel like you just bring this energy across the microphone. I feel like, you're radiating this smile when you speak. And I feel that. So I want to deliver in the episodes that I share. It needs to be authentic. I need to feel that. And I wasn't feeling that when I recorded it last night. So I just scrapped it. And I thought to myself, I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to get up. I'm going to get up when I need to get up because I didn't have to be in the studio early. I'm going to go for a walk. I'll connect in with the morning sun, and then I'll come back and I will record that episode. So I did that. And it flowed beautifully. Like everything that I wanted to say just came out. And what had happened the day before when I was recording, I had a desire I had notes written out, and I'm like, I have to make sure, like I touch on this, touch on that. When I decided to jump on the next morning and record, I was just intuitively guided. I didn't have my notes. I went, I'm just going to speak about it from the heart. And that's what I did. And I noticed yesterday when I was recording, I kept kind of feeling this little bit of resistance in my throat. I kept feeling this need to start, hit stop. That was crap. I need to kind of start again. It took me heaps of goes to get started. And this morning it just flowed with ease. It was just it flowed with ease and flow. And that's a mantra I always put out. Life unfolds easily and effortlessly for me. And I'm like, okay, this has been a really great lesson for me. And I said to Kira when I was chatting with her this morning, I said, what happens is when I get on Facebook Live or when I'm speaking to people in the studio one-on-one, when I'm teaching in the studio in front of people, I feel this, it just flows easily. I don't need notes. I'm just divinely guided and it comes out. So what happened is, the reason I got this card is this was a lesson that I needed to learn again. Even though I thought I had mastered this, it was another lesson that had come back up for me all around speaking authentically and being divinely guided, trusting in myself, trusting that I have everything that I need within, trusting that I might not necessarily need my notes. For me, I speak more authentically when I'm in front of a camera or when I'm in front of a classroom. So Kira suggested to me, she said, maybe pop your phone up when you're recording, pop your phone up, which I'm doing now, and make it feel like you're talking to somebody one-on-one, or that you're recording for your community, and do that when you do your podcast, and it'll make it a little bit more comfortable for you. And I said, that's a great idea. So I'm going to start doing that. But why this kept playing out for me, there was a layer of perfection that I kept thinking to myself, I have let go of perfection. I'm not this kind of anal retentive, perfect housewife or mother like I used to be. I've let go of a lot of that. I've let go of perfection in certain areas of my life, but I kept feeling this pressure of, on a podcast, I have to show up. It's a different thing that I'm not used to doing. So I have to show up perfectly. I have to get it exactly right. And so that's why I pulled this card again this morning, was just to remind me that things don't have to be perfect all the time. And just when you thought that you have worked through something, another deeper layer of that is going to come up. Another lesson is going to come up to teach you again. Because when we are clearing things, like I tell the girls in the studio, like if a full moon rolls around, or if you need to do some cleansing and releasing, I said, this cleansing and releasing is something that we do over and over. It's like a spring clean of your home. It's like doing your weekly chores. It's not something that you do once and go, okay, I've released. There's always going to be layers that are going to keep showing up for you that you need to maybe do a little bit more work on until you can kind of feel like, okay, I've kind of mastered this a bit, or I'm a bit more comfortable in this area of my life. So I took her advice on board. But I kind of already had this little bit of an inner knowing already this morning before we jumped onto the call. The call wasn't about that anyway. We went into a whole other amazing topic that she taught me. But I really had to understand, and like we all do, look at things that keep coming up. Look at the return. Like this card said to me, human life is a series of cycles, often spiraling and looking back around to places it's been before. There is currently a return showing up in your life, whether it be a return to blah, 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 blah. I'll go through. Here we go. You never step into the same river twice. Everything is always changing. So think of this return as another layer, another chapter or incarnation of a continuing story or pattern in your life. Then I read another part I wanted to share. Finally, remember the world is your home and you are at home in the world. Comforting familiarity with places, people, and occupations is not an illusion, and it's not something that's only there for other people. You can trust. You do deserve to feel safe in your life. There is a place where you belong. And it also said, where is it? You may be stepping back into a relationship, a position, a path with greater clarity and certainty than before. So I do believe that when these things show up for us again, as frustrating as it can be sometimes, these things are showing up just to take you that little bit deeper, just to kind of work on it a little bit more and let go of it little by little, because it's not something that, for instance, perfection, it's not something that you are just going to master. You might let go of perfection or control in one area of your life and then notice that it's playing out in another area of your life. So all of these things, that if you're noticing patterns that are keep replaying themselves, that keep repeating themselves, keep playing out, just maybe ask yourself the question, why is this showing up for me again? What do I have to work on? What do I have to work on letting go of? What do I need to maybe just look at? And I was talking to Kira about this morning, and we were saying, like, the inner work is hard, and that's why a lot of people don't do it. It's easier to keep going in your same routine, doing the same thing over and over again. But the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result, right? So we have to kind of look at what's coming up for us. We have to look at what can be changed, what can be released over and over, because that is where your growth is going to come from. That is where you're going to start to manifest more of your desires. That is where new opportunities are going to arise from. That is where you're going to fall into maybe your life's purpose, or a new relationship, or more abundance, or better health, or better trust in yourself and in your ability, is by working through these layers. So as much as I was frustrated that this card showed up for me this morning, it really made me reflect on, okay, what's happened the last 24 hours with this podcast recording? Why was it so hard yesterday compared to what it was this morning? Because I was putting this pressure on myself. I was putting this pressure of time. I had to get it done by a certain time. I was putting this pressure of, I'm not feeling in the right energy, but I'm going to go and do it anyway, which is going against what feels in alignment. And this pressure of, it needs to be perfect. I can't forget anything. I've got these notes written down. I can't leave anything off. I need to share all these things. And what Kira said to me was, she said, you're just divinely guided in the moment. Whatever comes up for you in the moment is what needs to be shared. Who cares if you forget all the things? It'll come up another time if it's meant to. Just learn to trust in yourself, and learn to trust in that what you are sharing is flowing straight through you, and that's what you need to put out there in the moment. Lisa, it does not have to be perfect. You don't have to cover every single point. Just get up and speak from your heart, because that is when you are most authentic. That is when you are the most powerful. And that is when you get your message across, and you know that. So stop making it so hard and get back to all the things that you know how to do. And don't put any more pressure on yourself that this podcast is any different to a class. It's any different from going and speaking to a member one-on-one, that it's any different from sharing on your social media, writing a post, writing a blog, doing a Facebook Live. It is no different. So stop putting it on a pedestal and just speak from the heart like you do with everything else. And I was like, wow, thank you. I really needed to hear that. And that is why this card has shown up for me this morning. And that is why I had to relive this lesson again, even though I was frustrated. It's helped me, and it's really helped me to work through my stuff, because we all have these layers, girls. We all have these things that hold us back, or these beliefs that we're not good enough, and we doubt on ourselves. This is normal. And what can we do to work on that? What can we do to improve that? It could be facing the thing that you're having a struggle with. It could be free journaling and writing, asking the question, why is this coming up? How do I need to work on this? It could be pulling an oracle card. It could be sitting in meditation. It could be just going and having some self-care. Like, I had one of my girls during the week, and she was going to come to a class, and she messaged me and said, I took your advice by what you shared on the weekend about self-care, and I thought, you know what I need today? I just need to go and have a bath. I need to do like a nice body scrub. I need to go and sit out in nature on my back patio and just sit and just be still. And she said, I feel amazing. Thank you for giving me that inspiration and that permission to go and do that for myself. So maybe that could be what you need. It could be chatting with somebody, like somebody, whether it's a healer or a kinesiologist or a friend or someone that you trust. It could be going to a class and just giving yourself a little bit of time and space. It could be moving your body, going for a walk. Whatever it is for you, give yourself that little bit of time and space to just still your mind, which a meditation is absolutely amazing for that, to just still your mind and ask the question, why is this replaying out for me? What is it there to teach me, and what do I need to work through? And then just put it out there and just trust, girls. See what comes up. What is the first thing that pops into your head? It might come up straight away. It might come up down the track. And that's okay. It might pop up when you're driving the kids to school later on, or having a shower, or out on a walk. Just put it out there and see what comes up. And even like another layer of perfection that I'm having to let go of is, even in this recording, you know, the home was beautiful and quiet and calm and no one was around. And then I've heard like my husband pull up. I can hear him in the kitchen. I'm like, shit, this is going to show up. You know, people are going to hear this in the background of my podcast. And I went, you know what? That's life. That is life. Nothing goes perfectly the way that you plan it all the time. That's part of living in a home, part of being a wife, part of being a mother, part of having kids, running a household. There's always noise around, and I've had to release that too and learn to just show up authentically. And who cares if my dog barks or someone comes to the door? Just stay in the zone and just keep sharing, because that is life, my friends. Anyway, I hope that insight helped a little bit, and I just had to jump on and share that with you, angels. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will chat with you soon. Bye. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode and want more, feel free to follow or subscribe on whatever platform you listen to. You can also head over to earthyangels.com or join our private Facebook group, Earthy Angels Connect, for more community, blogs, updates, inspo, motivation, support, and to connect with a tribe of like-minded souls. And if you have a moment, we would be super grateful if you would love to leave a review. Sending you so much light and love, Angel.